Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the price of Bitcoin, and we're also going to be looking at Kadena. So recently I put out a video on Kadena and I was looking at the fundamentals behind it. It's important for us now to look at the market and let's have a look at where I think Kadena is going to go. So as with always, we have to look at the market leader first. So let's take the daily chart on the Bitcoin. Um, Take that away. Let's look at Bitcoin's daily chart. Currently, we're in a bit of a testing phase right now. If we draw some trend lines in, this is our major support. So as you can see, we are moving towards a phase where major support may or may not be tested. Um, this is more intermediate support over here. A break below would signify the test of major support. Um, so Bitcoin's price, Kadena has quite a nice correlation with Bitcoin, as I'll show you in a second. But this is made, currently we're testing off of this intermediate support. We may test major support soon. If we test major support, we're looking at breaking this horizontal line where Bitcoin's actually been testing for the last couple of days. If we have a look at more detail, we're looking at breaking this and returning to perhaps 39,000, perhaps 30, maybe 40,000. It depends on Bitcoin's overall movement. However, that's the direction I see. Currently, I'm quite bearish on Bitcoin, although they do say the when you're feeling bearish, that's when you should be the most bullish. If we take the Fibonacci, let's take a look at take it from the swing low. If we're looking at longer term price action, let me take it from here. So the 40,618 is a very good level for Bitcoin to be at. In regards to the Fibonacci, some targets we have, we're currently bouncing off the 46,715 level. However, this is a broken level, so I'm expecting it to go down much further. Perhaps we're going to bounce off this intermediate trend line upwards further to maybe the 51 level. We might catch out the longs there and then we'll retrace here. That's just my view on things. All things Bitcoin related. Now it's important for us to look at some other charts. So let's have a look at the S&P 500. Um, very important to look at the S&P 500. It's a very good director of where we're going in the market. Just waiting for it to load. Let's take a line graph of the S&P 500. Everyone always does candlesticks. Let's have a look at the line graph. Let's take it a little bit further back. We're looking at a longer term horizon here. If we're looking at the daily charts, this is more longer term. As you can see, we've been trading within the channel um, since April 2020. And if I'm to highlight this channel to you, it would be more or less over like this. So this is the channel we are trading in. Right, now that's quite important for us. It means it gives us targets. And that's our intermediate support, this dotted line over here. Currently, we're testing that. A break to the downside could mean we drop significantly, perhaps 4 or 5%. To be honest with you guys, I think this is quite likely. Um, I think as long as we stay within this trend, it will be okay. I think the last time we had a parallel channel like this, we broke out to the downside. Hopefully we can break up to the upside, and that would mean Bitcoin would be not as bearish because the S&P 500, obviously the relation with futures and stocks and Bitcoin, there's an obvious correlation. So that aside, let's have a look at some other cryptocurrencies. Um, for this video, for the purposes of this video, we're going to be looking at Kadena. I've given you my perspective on Bitcoin. Let's have a look at Kadena now. In terms of Kadena, there it is. Don't want to lose it. Kadena. Just saw you. There it is. Currently, we're trading at 11.1. When I was preparing for the video, it was at 11.28. let's move away from a line graph. However, I just want to show you the line graph. The line graph is quite interesting, as it says a lot about Kadena. Kadena, pretty unknown at this point. Kadena was pretty unknown up until I'd say the 22nd of September. Since then, Kadena has grown exponentially in growth, um, pretty much over a 20x um, since then. And the line graph is demonstrating some important things for us. Firstly, with Kadena, what we can do is pretty much take a basis of trend here, assuming this was facing support. This is our trend line, and our intermediate trend line I will draw as follows, like that. Actually, if we make it parallel, what we can do is we can determine to a better extent. There you go. So that's a better representation of where we're at. And in terms of this line graph, what I can see right now is us trading in between $9, $10 and $11, $12. I think for the time being, and then on the news of the DEX, for example, or other big roadmaps and fundamentals, we could see a breakout of this channel. However, for the time being, I think until dApps and other decentralized finance and Bitcoin playing up, I think we're going to be trading within this channel for a while. I'm going to draw this line on here because this is also quite a nice line. Trading within this, right now we're moving towards the bottom phase of the channel. So that's Kadena. And I like Flux because Flux is more a representation of the free market. And I'll explain why this is in a second. So if we look at Flux, sorry, I didn't mean to draw that line. Let me get rid of that. If we look at Flux, and let's take the line graph because I don't like all the green and red. The green and red does sometimes mess with the bearishness or the bullish sentiment of things. If we look at the Flux line graph, what I want you guys to see is Flux is on the free market essentially. KuCoin controls about 25 million, maybe 80-90% of Kadena's circulating supply. So what this means is because Kadena hasn't been launched on really major tier one exchanges, Flux, which has been recently launched on Binance, hence its huge spike in price, is a better representation of the actual movement of Kadena. So I think Flux and Kadena, I'm going to show you the chart in a second. Let's just take a look at the sentiment here. Take it from here, up here. Realistically, we're in a symmetrical triangle. So we could see a break to the up or downside. And if I was a betting person, I would say a breakout to the upside. I'm remaining quite bullish on Flux and Kadena, Flux being Amazon Web3 services and offering a similar product to that. So that's what Kadena's chart should be looking like. Let me get a comparison up of Kadena, KDA, USDT. So if we have a look at Kadena, you can more or less see that we are actually should be, we're actually trading quite similar patterns right now. I think the Binance spike will move Kadena back up to its level around this level, whatever it is. If this is a 1,000% gain, this is maybe we're going to be trading around $16, $17 with the Binance. That's what Flux has done. I think Kadena will do the same thing. I think other than that, Kadena, if we go back to Kadena, is not looking too bullish, to be honest. I think the best and most important thing for us is to remember we're looking at it long term. So if you're going to the daily, realistically, if I remove this, realistically, you're looking for a retracement, perhaps. I'd like to see something perhaps in the $6-5 range. I think in the $6-5 range would be quite nice, although I can see us accumulating between this for a while or holding these trend lines as well. Um, Pretty much Kadena and Bitcoin are very correlated. If I show you the difference between Kadena and Bitcoin, it's very interesting to note. Kadena, Bitcoin, Kadena and Bitcoin, as of recently, have been more and more correlated. This was prior because it's a daily chart. Let me show you on the hourly chart. Kadena and Bitcoin have been trading within a range, so there's not been much separate movement. It's important to note that if Bitcoin moves, Kadena moves, but to a greater extent. And that leads me on to Bitcoin dominance. So with Bitcoin dominance, if we remove this and I'll remove all previous indicators, I like to look at it based on candles as well. For Bitcoin dominance, let's look at the daily chart. Now, what does the daily chart tell us for Bitcoin dominance? If we can see this, I know it's loading, but we're very much clearly in a downtrend. We could see a double bottom here, but it's 1 hour, so I'm not too convinced on that. So we have got nice support at this 40 level, perhaps a triple bottom. Very nice support at this level, um, indicating we could have a breakout. We could have a breakout, or we could break this level. If we break this level, it's very bad news for Bitcoin. But for other altcoins, it's not too bad. It would mean they get a nicer run through. Um, I think we need to look at it from a weekly perspective to fully understand Bitcoin dominance. What Bitcoin dominance is essentially saying is the Bitcoin's relation in terms of market cap compared to the rest of the altcoins in the market. Obviously, you've got to remember more and more altcoins are being put on the market, and they actually have great utility. So the inherent Bitcoin dominance is obviously changing, but there's a fundamental reason for that. Bitcoin dominance, if we're holding this level, which I can see us holding potentially for a while longer, it would mean altcoins are going to tank further, which is important to understand. Let's have a look at some other coins. Let's have a look at Dow Jones Industrial. It's quite important for us. These are quite good indicators. The futures market is a very good reflection of where we're going to be in the cryptocurrency market. Um, Based on the principles of risk on, risk off, it tends for people tend to move their assets out of one market into another, and more times when the futures market goes down, the cryptocurrency market moves down further. When the futures market goes up a small extent, the cryptocurrency market either stays stationary or moves down. But when the futures market's doing very well, cryptocurrency markets are going to do very well as well. Um, so the Dow Jones in terms of percentages is minus 1.48% today, which isn't good. And you have your other major alts that are tanking, and that's including Phantom, uh, Polkadot. I think Phantom's an interesting one. Phantom is one of those ones where it has great potential, but it also has extremely high risk, and that's not something I'm too impressed with. Total value locked has been decreasing over time, which is not too great. And also, I think with Phantom, they had a couple of exploits a couple of days ago. But in terms of Kadena, and that's the one I'm focusing on, I think we're going to have some bearish sentiment for a while. I think Binance exchange listing could take us somewhere up to $16, $17, perhaps even 2021, and then we're going to draw back as with all tier one exchange listings. But anyway, that's it for the video today. If you enjoyed, subscribe to my channel, leave a like, a comment, and tell me what you'd like me to do next.